6 bizarre discoveries in Egypt that scare scientists. From the Great Pyramids to the mummies unearthed in Egypt, the country has always shocked scientists with their artifacts. Welcome back to Discovery Unraveled. Here are 6 bizarre discoveries from Egypt that have scared the scientists. The reserve heads. It seems like something out of a horror film, discovering disembodied heads beneath an ancient Egyptian tomb, but relax, those aren't actual heads. The jury is still out about what they were doing there. Even today, the heads remain a mystery. Since the initial ones were found in 1894, more than 30 have been located. These were referred to as reserve heads because they resembled a group of extra heads. According to one notion, they were used as substitute for a noggin if a tomb was raided and looted. Some of them seem to have been intentionally harmed. Long scratches and missing ears first perplexed archaeologists, but it is now believed that these are indications that the artifacts represent old production molds. The Void of Giza. It's interesting how even old landmarks can still catch you off guard. Upon inspecting the fabled Great Pyramid of Giza on the west bank of the Nile in 2017, scientists were astonished. As you may already be aware, this historical marvel of the globe, the largest of the 3, was created for Pharaoh Khufu. It stands 146.7 meters or 481 feet tall and is 4,500 years old. Scientists now know that objects existed inside the pyramids. Although rooms and burial chambers have been found, the Great Pyramid was virtually undiscovered for over a century. All of that changed when an inspection revealed an undiscovered space. The inspection was carried out from outside the pyramid using muon radiography and thermal imaging. The new room, more than 30 meters or 100 feet long, was seen above a hallway inside the building known as the Grand Gallery. It's been called a void, though it's unclear what that means. Although these are still being created, experts are counting on robots to enter the area and bring back cameras. Another hypothesis for the room's function is that it served as Khufu's hidden burial chamber. Archaeologists from the 19th century discovered several chambers when they initially uncovered and studied the pyramids, including one with a sarcophagus assumed to house Khufu himself. Yet when the sarcophagus was opened, nothing was inside. The remains have long been thought to be stolen, and that belief hasn't changed. The idea that a 4th chamber was hidden and held the mummy of Khufu was post-dated to the 4th chamber's discovery. In 2004, 2 amateur French Egyptologists proposed that there might have been an additional chamber. To support their claims, they employed ground-penetrating radar and architectural study. A group planned to photograph the pyramid with more advanced technology in 2022. The team said, "We plan to field a telescope system that will image muons from nearly all angles and will, for the first time, produce a true tomographic image of such a large structure. It will have up to 100 times the sensitivity of the recently used equipment at the Great Pyramid." Kites. Since over a century ago, mysterious lines in the Egyptian deserts have been observed from the air. Everyone was unsure of their identities. They're composed of small stone walls arranged in the shape of a kite and are not tall. Some of them are up to 40 kilometers long. Their pointing toward a sand pit made their direction even more unclear. As you might expect, there was a lot of discussion surrounding the sightings. At first, some believed they might be a sign of an extraterrestrial society, or proof that the Egyptians attempted to converse with a being in the sky. Nevertheless, specialists think they have the best answer yet for the lines after concentrating on 16 of these kites in Egypt's Sinai Desert. In all honesty, it's rather gloomy. People must understand how the pyramids were constructed over 3,000 years ago. According to the common perception, thousands of enslaved people pulled sledges loaded with stones. Yet there is no proof to support this. A hieroglyph depicting a line of men standing in peculiar positions caught her eye while she was reading a book about Egyptian structures. They were holding what appeared to be ropes connected to a huge bird in the sky through some mechanical mechanism. She pondered the possibility that the men were lifting a large object with the help of a giant kite that looked like a bird. 3. King Tut's mummy. The circumstances of Tutankhamun's death are one of the great mysteries of ancient Egypt. In 1922, Howard Carter discovered his fabled tomb, turning him into a historical hero. King Tut passed away in his youth, which is less commonly known. As is always the case with archaeology, specialists must wait for technology to catch up before expressing an opinion. The body underwent CT scanning earlier this century and X-rays in the 1960s. With this examination, certain details concerning Tut's death, such as missing bones and prior injuries, have come to light, but the exact cause of death is still unknown. British scholars re-examined the king's remains this year and came to an unexpected result. They said that the body may have displayed burn symptoms. This was due to a ceremonial coating of glue and oil that was applied to Tut to make him ready for the afterlife. Due to the tremendous flammability of this technique, Tut appears to have caught fire inside the sarcophagus. Some people have challenged the announcement, claiming there would be more proof of a fire if it had occurred. Most people think the young monarch was the victim of a deadly trauma, which may have been brought on by anything from a chariot mishap to a raging hippo. We do know that his death was anything but monotonous. 2. The Serapeum. You wouldn't believe what was discovered in Memphis if you thought the Great Pyramid of Giza sounded enigmatic. A network of caves 12 miles from Giza had 24 large black boxes. Some people think they're alien artifacts since they are so strange and each weighs 100 tons. Let's examine the actual evidence, as that is too far-fetched. The caves were discovered by French archaeologist Auguste Mariette in 1850 and are a component of a sacred temple. The location is known as the Serapeum of Saqqara, or burial ground, dating back over 3,000 years. Ramses II, the pharaoh, gave the order for its construction. The first part of the name Serapeum alludes to the god Serapis. Serapis was frequently shown as a man holding a dog. Nevertheless, this dog was not your typical dog because it had 3 heads. It's more plausible that the black boxes are sarcophagi than that extraterrestrial life left them behind. What's within them, though? You'll be startled to learn that the response is literally a bunch of old bulls. Animals were revered in ancient Egypt, as evidenced by the theory that the boxes hold the remains of mummified Apis bulls. It's beginning to make sense. Number 1. Dendera light. Although some observers might disagree, we may think of the light bulb as a relatively recent development. They even assert that, long before it was formally established, the ancient Egyptians had access to a power source that provided them with things like electric light. The Dendera light, a stone relief discovered in the Temple of Hathor, is where this idea originated. A complex in the little village of Dendera on the west bank of the Nile contains the temple. A pair of Egyptian men and what appears to be a massive baseball bat with a serpent inside can be seen if you stare at the Dendera light. Despite the fact that this is not a baseball bat, some people think it resembles a contemporary lamp. According to some elementary investigation, this isn't what it is. This portrays the rising sun, according to the official interpretation. The snake is Semetawi, a snake god, and the lamp is a lotus flower. The sun is meant to be represented by Semetawi. The bulb shape or bat shape is possibly meant to represent what is known as the womb of Nut. When you consider that Nut was a sky goddess, it seems less and less conceivable that we're investigating a source of electricity. That said, no one is absolutely certain of what it is, and it may signify something completely different. This is an ancient Egyptian baseball game. They invented it hundreds of years before we did. It does still resemble a bat. With that, we come to the end of this video. If we keep you entertained, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe for more amazing content. Do refer to our other videos and check out our playlists.